Hi friends, welcome back to our channel Curious Minds. And no, I'm not trying to jump on the bandwagon of coronavirus, and that's the reason I haven't made any videos on this current situation. But lately, I've been getting a lot of questions from people about the impact of COVID-19 crisis on PR processing, travel back and forth from Canada to the US, and so on. So I thought I'll make a quick video to share what I've learned so far and my experience of crossing the border during these difficult times. So here are a few questions I've been asked repeatedly. Is the express entry system still operating during the coronavirus crisis? Yes. The express entry rounds of invitations, that is the draws for express entry pool, are expected to be taking place as per schedule during the COVID-19 crisis. The most recent draw was conducted on April 9, 2020, which had a CRS cutoff score of 464, although it was only for the Canadian Experience class. Unfortunately, it means that the applicant must have at least 1 year of work experience in Canada within the last 3 years. The last round of invitations, which included all programs for the express entry, was on March 4th of 2020. Will the timeline for processing PR application be longer during coronavirus crisis? One of the biggest concerns from people who have already filed an application with the IRCC is whether the timeline to get a decision on their application will increase. The IRCC publishes average estimated processing timelines on their website regularly, but recently they have put up a notice on their website indicating that the timelines that were being published may not reflect accurately due to the disruptions caused by COVID-19. They have also specified that the applications currently in progress at the IRCC offices will continue to be processed, but they may experience some delays. Is COVID-19 expected to have an impact on the scores used for future rounds of invitations? It is difficult to know for certain, but there may be a decreasing trend in the CRS cutoff scores used to issue the invitations to apply under the express entry system. In February 2020, Immigration Minister Marco Mendicino announced a record high target of annual immigration levels over the next 3 years, consisting of 341,000 permanent residents for 2020, 351,000 for 2021, and 361,000 for 2022. In announcing its latest targets for new residents, the government has said immigration drives economic growth, assists employers in finding workers, and helps to address the demographic challenges presented by an aging population. Many immigration experts believe that the outbreak of the new coronavirus and its effects such as travel restrictions and COVID-19 related delays in obtaining the needed documents will likely slow the Canadian immigration, at least for the short term. Many are predicting that it is unlikely that Canada will meet its target of 341,000 immigrants due to the inevitable consequences of the pandemic, and the government could make some adjustments later on in the year to make up for the slowdown. If this is true, the express entry scores are expected to drop to meet the target set by the government, but only time will tell. Will my application be denied or cancelled because of missing documents due to COVID-19 delays? IRCC will not close or refuse any applications if you are unable to provide your passport or any other supporting documents such as police clearance certificate due to service disruptions related to COVID-19. They will also not decline any applicants who are unable to complete certain steps such as getting their biometrics or completing a medical exam. According to IRCC, an automatic 90-day extension will be given to all applicants in these scenarios. Who can travel to Canada during COVID-19 travel restrictions? You may have heard that severe travel restrictions were imposed for travel into Canada, and there's a lot of confusion as to who is allowed to travel into Canada and who isn't. I would like to share the information that I have gathered through my research. I'm no expert at immigration, but here's what I've found on the web. As per the last update from IRCC on March 29, 2020, citizens and permanent residents of Canada are able to enter Canada. People who have an approved PR application on or before March 18, 2020, but have not done the landing procedure can enter Canada. Please note that all the landing appointments will be done by the phone whenever possible or would be scheduled for a later date. IRCC has cancelled all in-person permanent resident landing appointments until April 13, 2020. Immediate family members of Canadian citizens and permanent residents can enter Canada. This includes spouses, common law partners, dependent children, or parents. Please refer to the IRCC website linked in the description box below for more details. International students who hold a valid Canadian study permit or who were already enrolled or accepted at a designated educational institution in Canada prior to the implementation of travel restrictions will be allowed to travel back to Canada provided they have a valid study permit or letter of introduction from the government dated March 18, 2020 or before as a proof. Temporary workers who were already in Canada or who had made arrangements to come to Canada to work before the travel restrictions were placed are exempt from travel restrictions. New workers coming to Canada to work in key sectors such as agriculture, food processing, health, transportation, and emergency services are also included in this exemption. Please note that every traveler entering into Canada is required to self-isolate for 14 days except for workers providing essential services across the border. To see a detailed list of exemptions to travel restrictions, please refer to the IRCC website linked in the description below. Is COVID-19 related travel restriction affecting commute to work across the Canada-US border? Essential travelers such as emergency personnel, healthcare professionals, truck drivers can travel across the border. Since me and my wife work in healthcare, we are allowed to travel across the border for work without any issues and are exempt from self-isolation requirements. However, we have been asked the usual COVID screening questions, such as if we have fever or any other symptoms, whether we have traveled outside of North America, etc. Workers that can work remotely or those who work in the non-essential services field are not allowed to travel for work across the border. Non-essential travelers such as those for tourism, entertainment, or recreation aren't allowed either. So these are the questions that have been asked to us most frequently, but feel free to comment if you have any other questions. Thank you for watching and be safe.